Ridiculous. Just awful. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Awful. Ridiculous. Hi, my name is Roger. I come from Sweden, but I didn't arrive to this city from Sweden. I arrived from Krakow, and I'm going to Prague, as you know. I have my own cabin on this train. It's small, but it's fine. The bed sheets are clean. I got water. They will serve me breakfast in the morning before I arrive. Now the time is 10:40 in the evening, and we have just started to roll. And I'm looking forward to Prague and see if I can take any pictures in that beautiful city. It's gonna be awesome. This is a pretty good way to start, isn't it? I mean, this view is brutal. I have my camera set up. I will try a normal single exposure, f8 I think. And I will try with ND filter and polarizer also. That wasn't such a bad start on my trip to Prague. Or was it too good? Did I already take my hero shot and what do I do the rest of the time for 5 days? I'm gonna take more photographs, of course. Some will be good, some will not. I mean, come on. Ridiculous. Charles Bridge. I guess you're not gonna be alone here unless you come maybe before 7 a.m. or even earlier. Vrtba Gardens. I'm sorry if I butchered that name, but it's really nice park inside of Prague city center. And if you wonder why Prague is called the city of 1,000 spires, maybe this is why. I arrived so early I haven't got my hotel room until now. Now it's 2 o'clock on a Sunday. Let's see how I shall live for a few nights. I think this will work. Not the worst place imaginable for having a beer or a nice coffee. When I've been out taking photos for a while, I usually stop and look at what I've taken just to see if I made any mistakes, if I can go back to that place again maybe. And I usually do that at a coffee shop, or now in the evening I can have a beer. After all, I'm in Prague. And for that I use the app, the Imaging Edge app on my phone, because the screen on the Sonys, they could be improved. When I do this, of course, I recognize the mistakes I've done, but I also see locations and angles that I might not have seen otherwise. For me, it's a good practice, at least in the first few days when I'm at a place, because then I have time to correct them. Oh, well, what did you do in Prague, Roger? Nothing special, just fell down some stairs in a big old tower. camera is set up. I have it on F9, 1 second exposure, ISO 800 with the polarizer and the ND filter on. Of course, also 2-second timer. So let's see how it turns out. It gets dark so quickly that I have to raise my shutter speed in several steps. Now I am at 5-second exposure, 5 seconds. And the sun is gonna be right behind the church in just a minute or so. And I will try to take a picture then. They kicked me out. Not really. They were closing, so they asked politely if I could leave. So I did, and I just hope that I got a couple of good pictures because the view was amazing. Walking tour through Prague.
This has been the center of Prague pretty much since the beginning.
This is how it works. We go in a group and then we stop at some place and the tour guide is telling us about architecture, history, and things to see in Prague and so on. It's a nice way to spend a day.
So 3 best things I would say: very good beer, beautiful architecture, and just very easygoing place. Not touristy, but not too touristy. And 3 worst things: there are no 3 worst things. Maybe 1 bad thing would be
Too many tourists. I know it.
Sometimes, yeah. Too many tourists when it's too hot. Yes, yes.
So was it a good tour? Yeah, it was okay. I don't think I learned so much more, but it was a good tour guide. Made fun of everything and everyone. Now it's soon sunset in Prague, and I'm gonna try and take a photo of the Charles Bridge with the castle in the background in the sunset. But before that, na zdraví. I've heard that you can get arrested if you don't drink beer in Prague, so be careful. Camera on a small tripod. I have an exposure time of 30 seconds. F8, ISO 125, ND filter on, polarizer on. Let's see what we get. You see that boat? That boat ruined my pictures, so now I have to wait. I think the light is really awesome now, but with that long exposure, the boat will just be blurry. It wouldn't make any sense at all. So I just have to wait for it to go, and also the water behind the boat to calm down a little bit. One more try. Patience is the key, I would say. Patience. I think I got a couple of pictures, but now I have to go and eat. But a thing that happened, which usually happens when you bring a camera and you're taking photos, is that other people want them to take photos of them with their phones. So I spent like 20 minutes taking photos of 2 Indonesian girls, very lovely girls, and I think the photos became great also. I have to mention the food a little bit in the Czech Republic, because the Czech food is meat with sauce and dumplings. It's other meats with sauce and dumplings. If you're a vegetarian, you're better off in another country. No, there are of course options. Maybe not Czech food though. So this is not vegetarian, this is a duck, but with a lot of vegetables which they don't serve in the Czech food. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I've just been walking through the Jewish quarter of Prague. I went into all the synagogues, the cemetery and so on. You have to buy a ticket. And I couldn't film anything because they won't allow it. They won't allow tripods either. They won't allow flash photography. But I think I managed to take some good photos. For photos, the Spanish synagogue is the one. It's so beautiful. It's really beautiful. The rest is maybe not as beautiful, but very interesting to see. I even got a hat. This is, I don't know what this is called. Maybe you know. This was for showing respect at the cemetery and also the synagogue that is still in use. Looks okay? I am at what I think is called the Petrin Tower. It looks like the Eiffel Tower, and the story is that there were a couple of Czech guys checking out the Eiffel Tower in Paris just after it's been built and said, we want one too. So they built this. I took the funicular up the hill like a small train. Now, of course, it's electrified, but before electricity, they used water tanks. So they filled the highest wagon with water in the tank, and that weight lifted the other wagon up. That's engineering for you. I think I want to check out the view from the tower. More stairs. Wonderful. Awful. Just awful. This is the Strahov Monastery with the famous library, the Strahov Library. It must be one of the most beautiful libraries in the world, if not the most beautiful. What do you think? Is there a more beautiful library somewhere else? The monks that lived here also started a brewery many hundred years ago, but it's still in use. So let's go and try some beer from the monastery. First time for me, monastery beer.
So first beer were brewed 2001, and it was the Amber Ale. So St. Norbert beer.
But it's brewed here?
Yes, in our brewery.
Okay.
It works for 22 years here.
Okay.
Yeah, but the brewery actually was founded in 14th century.
So in
Maybe
1300.
even earlier, because
same time as the bridge.
same time as the monastery here.
Okay.
So that means 1142.
And the verdict? A bit bitter, but very good. Very good. Come on. I wonder if Czech people get bored of this or not. Yesterday I was too late, but today I visited the castle, both inside and outside, of course, and I was trying to take some photos. In the old castle, it wasn't so much to photograph, but St. Vito's Cathedral was amazing. But don't expect to be alone. There's a lot of tourists in Prague. A lot. There are tricks you can do with photography to get rid of people. If there's only one or two people, maybe you can erase them with content-aware fill or something in Photoshop. Or you can take one picture every like 15-20 seconds and then tell Photoshop that get rid of everything that have moved. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Maybe it's not fair to complain about that there's a lot of tourists when I'm a tourist myself. If you're wondering what gear I use for photo and video when I'm traveling, I'm gonna do a separate video about that, what I pack. But in a nutshell, I have this Sony a7 IV as my main camera. I've got two lenses. One is the Tamron 28-200 f2.8 to 5.6. The other one is also a Tamron lens. It's 17-28 f2.8. I also brought one more lens which I haven't used. I brought a tripod which I used once, but I used my platypod a lot. I also use a small carbon tripod from Coolman. That is what I use mainly for my GoPro Hero 11, which makes the videos. More information about gear will come in a separate video. Ridiculous. Concert by the Czech Philharmonic in the evening, in the sunset, just behind the castle. What's wrong with that? Nothing, I tell you. And they play and sing fabulous. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to check out my pictures, I've made a photo story of Prague. Link is down below, of course. Any questions? Please leave them in the comments.